Hey everybody, this is Grace. And I used to use this channel a few years ago. I think it was 2017, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, to talk about dealing with some of his family members, some of them. And it was a really rough time for me. I remember even one time my blood pressure was so high. It was unbelievable just dealing with them. And it was mainly one. I called her, what nickname did I give her? Tara, I think. And one of the other ones, and the other one has chilled quite a bit. And she was the younger one. What name did I give her? Winnie. Yeah. I give people pseudonyms, I don't give real names. Not even mine. So, yeah, I don't do that. I learned that many, many years ago. Yeah, you just don't do that online as much as you can. I first was online in 1990. So anything you would think of as social media was 1990. And that's a long time, so I learned a long time ago. But anyway, I want to talk about this, more about dysfunctional families. Some people have joked around and said that, well, everybody comes from a dysfunctional family. No, that's taking away from people who really have to deal with truly dysfunctional families. Some would call them narcissistic families. When people are very abusive to people, and that's what I went through with some of his family members, and I have for many years. I've known him for 40 years, and we had married, man, I don't even know how long ago it was, but way long ago. And yeah, how many years would that be now? Yeah, you see how well, we got divorced many years ago too. I think we were married as long as we were divorced. But yeah, with his family, they were they're the type, like, they'd come over, and because he comes from a different country, a country across the globe. Originally, he's lived here much longer than he lived there. His part of his, some of his family members, when they would come over, like, to our place, wherever we lived, they would basically try to take over, everything. And this is like 40 years of this, close to. And it was mainly the women. Well, it was the women. And they treated me like I was just somebody to ignore. Or I wasn't involved. I didn't belong in my own home. Yeah, when he and I were married, even after that, we've been together, many of these years, not all of them. But it was unbelievable. So somebody comes in, and the biggest thing they did was to take over, the women take over the kitchen and cook all the meals, which I didn't like the meals they cooked at all, and of course he loved it, and the other, all of them loved it, but I didn't, I mean, I have eaten food from so many different countries and love it, but it was the way they cooked it. It always was too overcooked, I guess you'd say. And just the nerve, really, just the nerve of somebody coming into, our home and then taking over. It's not my kitchen, it wasn't his, but I did most of the cooking, and I was, at various times, I was the homemaker, so yeah, it was not my kitchen. Like I said, it was both of ours. But he had this, he's always had this thing, he just doesn't stand up to them. And it's not like he's a weak person. I think in a way he liked it. He liked the attention and all that. And I've gone through that, went through in videos before. I haven't made them public again. I don't know if I will. I don't know. It was a series I kept doing year after year. And I call it Not My Circus, Not My Monkeys. Because really, that kind of thing, it's up to him to take care of. But the older you get, the more you process through something, more you've dealt with it. Some of it I knew then that it was me to take care of it too, because they were doing some of these things to me. But anyway, a person can ride the fence on that, because it is some people would see that the person needs to take up for you. No, not really. They need to stop the behavior. Say, this is my home, and you don't come into my home and take over, various things. Like the kitchen. You just don't do that. That's disrespectful, to us. And I can see that it's difficult. Like during, right now is hurricane season, and in my family, they're dysfunctional. It's a dysfunctional family, and I can't say they're, it's a dysfunctional family too. But like during hurricane season, I live north of Dallas, and they live closer to the Gulf, to the coast, and just basically, of course, if something happened, they can come. We'd all say, those of us that don't live closer, whichever one they could come there. Who needs to. I don't do that anymore. The last time I did was a few years ago, and I was waiting for the two of them to get here, and finally I called again, because I'd spoken to them earlier that day and they were on their way. I called them and they said, "Oh, we changed our mind." I had prepared, bought groceries for it, prepared the home, cooked, I think even cooked meal, whatever, cleaned it, to prepare for them, room and all that, and didn't even bother to call me. Until I called and said, "Well, what's going on?" And they'd already told me they were on their way. So, but this year I would not do that because of the pandemic, it's going on. And I see, no, that's just too dangerous. I won't even let the cable guy, I would not allow in my home. They wanted us to do that, to have the cable guy. Said, no. And we're having a deep freezer chest delivered. It's going to be delivered into the garage, not into the house. No, I don't want people in my home. It's bad enough to have groceries to come in, And we're older. Both of us are diabetic. It makes us more of that vulnerable group. So, and even though I think I already had it back in February, before there was much out there about it, at least here. I had so many weird symptoms. It wasn't funny. It was, yeah. But anyway, back to the family stuff. Okay. But no, right when this speaking of which, right when this stuff started, this pandemic, right before then, one of Adam's brothers, he's older than Adam. The guy's probably around 70, I would think. He called. He lives in Florida, with his wife, and I think one of his daughters. She's like probably in her 40s. And there's another daughter, but she's married. But anyway, they all live in Florida. And he called and was, just like out of the blue. And Adam doesn't pick up much on social, what's going on, what people are trying to do. And I sat there and I listened, and then I told him after he got off the phone, I said, no, I know what they're doing. I said, they're trying to come here for this pandemic. That's right when they started talking about, what was going on and to stock up and stuff like that. I said, no. And that part of his family, they have this really weird way of looking at things. Like, if they come to, okay, anyway, if they feel like if they come to visit you, that that you have to buy the ticket for them to come to visit you, even if they invite themselves. Seriously, they're really strange. They want all that, and I could not imagine being stuck at home for who knows how long. Stay at home with them, that type, the husband, the wife, and the adult child. when they're this, they come from the family that loves to take over things, totally disrespectful. And I don't know the wife, the husband. He's not bad. Adam's older brother, he wasn't as bad, but he has a little bit of an attitude too. And then I've heard rumors, stories. I've never met his wife. I've heard horror stories about how bad she is. Just really bossy and controlling, and I don't know the child either, which is an adult, 40 years or so. And I try to tell Adam, I said, they're hinting and they're wanting to come here, to fly here, and stay here during it, because I could just see it. They would be living off of Adam, his money, like they've done before. But that wasn't the big thing for me. That's not my circus. Okay. Mine was just having people in my house, how bad that would be, especially more people who don't believe that they have to follow rules like wear masks or in social distance. Just having people in my home, that are like that. It's just really, and I started thinking, where would I go? Last time, remember, you were around then, when his sister got so bad, the situation, his brother and that brother and his sister were both here, and it got so bad, I left. And Adam was like, he doesn't know what to do. No, he was taking up for them. And then, So I left, and I stayed in a hotel for a little over a week, I think. And then I came back here, but I'd leave again because dealing with his sister was, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's Tara. And Tara the Terror. Oh my goodness. Just their whole family dynamic, because of that kind of, and that they don't see it as wrong. They see that as right. They're here, they're going to enjoy their food, and since I don't cook it, they're going to enjoy it. But what about me? You don't just they didn't ask, can they do that? They just assume. And part of their culture is that that kind of that part of your family comes before the wife and their children. Seriously, that is part of their culture. I think that's BS. Well, I say it's BS. It could be that they just say that so they can have control. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. I say BS to it being part of their culture. Might be, but I don't think so. Adam said it is, and I said, I don't care. This is what about my culture? My culture is you don't come in my home and run the show. I don't care who you are. But anyway, I want to do more videos about dysfunctional families on this channel again. I'm going to start making some videos about it, and we'll see where it goes. I'm really, lately with all this going on, it's more than just a pandemic. It's like, yeah, so much going on that I have a hard time sticking to stuff. But I've always had a hard time sticking to anything. I mean, I make the videos, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough for this one. So maybe more to come. Probably more to come. Talk to you on another video.